Well, to add on to the craziness of Joe Biden, the Democrat Party, you got inflation, folks. Inflation is going up once again. And I kid you not, just the other day, Janet Yellen said inflation was going down. I'm not joking. She said this after March. The March numbers are out. Inflation went up. Here we got from Fox News.
We have the best economy in the world. We got to make it better. We really do have the best economy in the world.
The inflation is out of control, and now it's out of control again. They brought down the rate so fast because they want to get elected, and it's going to work out just
Well, inflation remains high, well above the Federal Reserve's target for cutting interest rates. In fact, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, came out today, year over year, overall at 3.5, core at 3.8%. Let's talk about the economy and the politics surrounding it with Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume. You know, Brit, good evening. The president today in the afternoon said that we, the administration and the country, better situated than when he took office. But if you look at the chart of inflation when he took office, started at 1.4% and now is at 3.5%.
Oh, you mean Joey lied to us? You're telling me Joey lied to us, Brett? Shocker. We're better off than now I took off. Like, no, you weren't. You lied again.
Obviously,
Joey.
Double. And he did bring it down, but it's still hot.
Well, and let's remember this about what happens when you bring the rate of inflation down. What that means is not that prices are going lower. They're not. They're just rising at a slower rate. So you had this huge run-up in prices that occurred fairly early in the administration after some truly massive spending during the Biden administration, on top of massive spending that had been done back during when COVID was raging and the economy was shut down. And the result was what was inevitably going to be, was inflation. We got this huge run-up, eye-popping numbers of inflation. Everybody felt it. And people are still feeling it because these prices are so much higher now for all kinds of things, nearly everything, than they were when President Biden took office. And they're still rising. And the president points to the numbers about having brought inflation down. Yes, that happened. About the jobs numbers, which are high, they are. About the growth in the economy, it's there. But as long as people are looking at the things they buy day in and day out and other things they may need to buy, cars and washing machines and the rest of it, and the prices are way, way higher than they used to.
Folks, even Fox News, I really do. I feel like they missed the mark on this. Inflation is not down. Inflation is not down. You just showed this chart that it was 1.4% when he came in office. It's 3.5% now. It's doubled since he's been in office. So he hasn't brought it down. If you want to sit there and like, well, it's 9.1%. It was a 40-year high. And well, he's brought it down since then. It's still up. It's still up. They're going to sit there, you guys, and manipulate you. We have it right here. Never take it from me. Always do the own research. I'll bring the receipts when I can. You have Janet Yellen right here. This was just the other day, like a day ago, 24 hours, 48 hours ago. Folks, listen to what she has to say.
Well, it just shows that U.S. is firing on all cylinders. I mean, in terms of short-term performance, inflation is coming down. The job market is very strong. Growth is really been a lot stronger than I would have expected at this stage. We had 3.1% growth last year. Inflation's coming down. Labor supply is up. And we're seeing some of the pressures we might worry about coming from the labor market impacting inflation. They're subsiding, but unemployment remains very low.
You're still confident we can get to 2% this year? We've seen a little bit of a flare-up so far this year.
Well,
folks, she also went on to say, it's fine. Families are fine. Everybody's doing okay. We talked about that in yesterday's episode. That's not the case. It's not the case. If you broke down gas prices, groceries, electricity, all those things, no, families are not doing okay. In the same video right here, she sat there and talked about how people were having to dip into their savings. She called it a buffering zone, a buffer that was established and created during and before COVID. Well, if you're going to say that it happened during or before COVID, people are able to have a savings and not tap into it because who was in office? Joe Biden wasn't in office. Donald Trump was in office. That buffer was created, that reserve was created by Donald Trump. But leave it up to the Democrat Party, leave it up to Joe Biden to sit there and destroy the reserves. No, not just money reserves. Oh, no. You got to understand. Remember, folks, he tapped into our oil reserves that aren't being replenished. And when she was asked about this specifically, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked by a reporter during the White House press briefing just last week about who's going to sit there and fill our reserve once again, because Joe Biden made the promise that he was going to fill it after he gave it to freaking China. That's not a joke. He gave it to China, one of the provinces in China that Hunter Biden had business dealings in. He gave millions of barrels of oil to them. Our barrels that were supposed to go to states or localities for natural disasters, he gave it to China. So he has a history and a track record of taking our reserves, not just on a federal level, but you on an individual level. He's taking your money out of your pocket, and you're seeing it right here. And she's going to sit there and say, well, Americans are tapping into their reserves that were established before COVID and during COVID, so they're financially stable. They're doing okay. If you're having to tap into your savings, which is classified as an emergency fund, it is not okay. That means there's an emergency. That means you're having more money being coming out and spending than you have coming in because you're tapping into your savings to do that. People aren't able to save, Janet. They're not doing well, but this administration is so far gone, you guys. I can't quantify it into words. Obama was bad. Don't get me wrong. Obama was really bad. Matter of fact, I think Obama put us in one of the worst situations in history with his Iran nuclear deal. Look what Biden's doing by allowing millions of people to pour across the border that we don't know who they are. There's hundreds of terrorists here now. How do I know that? Well, if you allowed close to 10 million people to enter into the interior of the country, and just already you know about roughly 300 people are known terrorists and known, you could just extrapolate that data out going, well, there's probably another 300 people that we don't know about at least that are considered terrorists that want to harm you and your family. Wild stuff. And people are still going to vote for Joey. You guys, I'm like, what do you think needs to happen for the Democrat Party to wake up? I'm not saying Republicans are even the answer to everything. That's not what I'm saying. Trump, doing great. Joe Biden, not so great. You have to make exorbitantly more amount of money under Joe Biden to just be able to live at the same standard as you were living under Donald Trump. You're having to work harder. You're having to work longer. Folks, they're going to tell you, you just heard it, that the economy's fine. You're doing great. You're not feeling the effects of any stupid decision Joe Biden did. That's Putin's fault. That's Trump's fault. It's Republicans' fault. It's Xi Jinping of China. It's not Joe Biden's fault. We're not going to believe that here on the show. The Patriots, the Bald Brad Army ain't going to believe it. No way in hell. We could read the BS. We could smell the duty from Joey's diaper that he's defecating in regarding all the BS that he's espousing. We'll sit here and keep you up to date on all of that.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.